Welcome! I'm teaching you today how to make cinnamon rolls. And these are not just your average cinnamon rolls. They're super fluffy and pillowy. They're so soft and they're delicious. Now, despite what you may think, I am actually not a huge fan of baking. I prefer cooking over baking because you can touch it, you can taste it as you're going. It's more artistic or creative in that way. And baking, I feel like, is more chemist, where everything has to measure right and you have to go by feel and things like that. And so baking actually really intimidates me. And I actually started baking by watching YouTube videos. So if you're afraid or intimidated of cinnamon rolls, this is a good recipe for you to try because it scared me at the beginning, but it's really easy and you can watch me do it so you can do it perfectly. And you will not regret the time you've invested in this video once you've eaten one of these. I'm telling you right now, they're the best. My brother actually gave me this recipe from a little old lady in Argentina. It's delicious. You start first with a saucepan and you put in 2.5 cups of milk, half a cup of sugar, and half a cup of butter. For the butter, I actually cut it up into smaller pieces. You need to get this to a certain temperature without the butter melting all the way, and I just don't want to scald it or anything, so it's easier than doing just 1 cube of butter. I like to cut it up. That's a disgusting sound. Listen. Ugh. Okay, do you see how the butter is not quite melted? It is just a little bit. And the temperature right now, it's perfect. It's 120 degrees. So that's how you want it to look. And then you just take it off the heat and be prepared to put it into your flour. All right, so you've got your warmed milk, sugar, and butter. And I just took it off the heat for a little bit. We're gonna use it right away. So you start by, I like to do it in a KitchenAid mixer. You don't have to do it in a KitchenAid mixer. You can do it without one. My brother actually, I'm gonna get in big trouble because I'm using my KitchenAid. He does everything by hand, but I like to make it easier on myself. So if you don't have a KitchenAid, that shouldn't deter you from doing this. He does it all by hand. I'm lazy. We're putting in 3 cups of flour. That was 3. And we're gonna put in 2 packets of yeast, which actually is about 4.5 teaspoons. If you don't have packages, you just put that in there. I mixed the yeast and the flour together, so it's pretty well incorporated. I'm going to use a dough hook for this. It just makes it so I don't have to change it out. You could do the paddle attachment if you wanted to, and then add the dough hook at the end for the kneading part, but I just do it all with the dough hook because I'm, like I said, I'm lazy. Into the flour, you'll put 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. I have my flour, my yeast, and my salt. I'm gonna pour in very slowly my milk, my sugar, my butter. And I'm just gonna mix it together for a little bit. See how soupy that is? That is how you need the dough to look before you do your next step. While the mixer is running, you do 1 egg at a time. When each egg is mixed in thoroughly, then you add another one. To me, the part that makes these cinnamon rolls different than most recipes I've seen is that there's potato flakes in them. These potato flakes just look like typical. I've never used these for anything else other than cinnamon rolls. I don't think I've ever made instant mashed potatoes in my life before. I don't even know how to do it. But these, you just put into here and it makes the most fluffy, delicious cinnamon rolls. They're amazing. Hey, by the way, no judgment on like the instant mashed potatoes if you love them. I like spray cheese in a can that's bacon flavored, so I am no respecter of persons. Okay, so you put in the potato flakes. You need to stir it together. Let them really get into the dough. Here's the part where we start to knead things together. Like I said, do not tell my brother I used a KitchenAid to do the kneading. He would kill me. Once the potato flakes have been absorbed into the dough, then you start adding more flour. Watch this. Oh, not that fast. We be raining with some flour. Okay, so we want to add 3 to 4 more cups. Get me good. So you'll see that the dough is pulling away from the side of the bowl. That's exactly how you want it to look. A little sticky, a little soft, but make sure that it's pulling itself away from the bowl. If it's not doing that entirely, you can add a little bit more flour. I have added all the flour that I want to add in, so it looks just like this. At this stage is when I start doing the kneading. With kneading, I do 2 minutes on, 2 minutes off. And I actually set a timer because I can't remember how much 2 minutes is. I mean, 2 minutes in the dentist office feels like 2 days. 2 minutes with my children leaving me alone feels like 1 millisecond. So, you know. Okay, I'm gonna make my brother proud and I'm gonna do some of it hand kneaded. For anybody who doesn't have a KitchenAid, I'll show you how to do it. It's really simple. You just make sure that you have a floured countertop and you do a half turn or quarter turn, and then you just do this until it's soft and pliable. See how soft and pliable that is? It's so smooth. It's really nice, and it's still a little warm actually from the milk, and you can feel that. This is actually really well kneaded already. That's how you want it to look. See how it's just, it's, the timer went off. Once you have it kneaded all nice and smooth like this, so that's how the indentation should look. It should spring back on you. You put it back in the bowl and you rise it for 1 hour. If it's a warm day, then I like to put it in my car. It rises really quickly that way. But sometimes it's a little too warm in there and it rises ahead of time, so just check on it every once in a while. If it's a cold winter day, which is usually the days you want to eat cinnamon rolls anyway, I like to put my oven on 200, turn off the heat, let some of the heat escape, and then rise it in the kind of warm oven. You guys, I can't wait to show you the dough. It's so beautiful. I did the whole oven trick, and look at that. Do you see that gorgeous springy dough? Oh, I'm so excited. So I floured. Can you tell? I don't really have to tell you I did that, right? I floured it. Oh, look at that. Look at that beautiful dough. Oh, yay. Oh, it's so gorgeous. Oh, it's nice and springy. And you just pull it out, pull it out. Oh. That sounds a little bad if you don't know that I'm messing with dough here, doesn't it? Oh my goodness. So you flour your rolling pin. Oh, look at that. Look at that beautiful, beautiful fluffy dough. Look at that. Oh, it's so happy. What you want to do is roll out your dough to about a 12 by 18 rectangle. And do your best to try to make it even. Look how beautiful that is. And it's holding its shape so nice. Oh my goodness gracious. You guys, I'm so excited. I get excited every time I make these because I feel like I've really accomplished something. Especially because I'm so intimidated by baking. I really am. I know it doesn't look it, especially because I'm doing YouTube videos about baking. It doesn't look like I'm intimidated, but I really am. It just makes me nervous.
Pizza?
No, tell me what it is.
It's bread.
No, it's not bread.
It's pizza.
No, you gotta get down. Please get down.
Oh,
no.
wait, cinnamon rolls. Hi,
Yeah.
Jimmy.
Oh.
Hi, camera.
Oh my gosh, please get down. So I have 1.5 cups of sugar and I have 3 tablespoons of cinnamon. And I'm gonna stir that. I'm looking for a spot over here. How's that? I don't really want to stir this on camera because it's a mess, yo. And I realize as I'm stirring it that I got the wrong size bowl. So it's going to be even messier than I had expected. Oh my goodness, I'm so... Just smelling the cinnamon is making me really excited. It's like a Pavlov response, right? Okay.
Can I help you?
People are gonna think that the only pajamas you own are those shark pajamas because I just happened to film last time and you were wearing those. In fact, I can't even remember the last time you wore real clothes. Can you?
No.
No. Look how pretty that is. I'm gonna sound that way the whole rest of me making these. So we just had a technical difficulty and the camera turned off in the middle of me doing something that I can't undo. I made cinnamon sugar, I put it on here and I rolled it up. and it was beautiful, but nobody saw it. It looked really pretty when I was spreading it over, I promise. It was just like that. Can you imagine it? It's beautiful. So once it's all spread out on the butter, in fact, I'm gonna add some more cinnamon. Oh, see how beautiful? And we're gonna roll it up. Now this part is really important because, well, it's a cinnamon roll, so you gotta roll it up. Look at that. Oh my goodness, look how beautiful it is. You guys, okay, this is how beautiful it looked when I did it last. Now, I like to kind of squeeze it together a little bit, but this recipe makes 12 very large, honky cinnamon rolls. We always do it in 12 because it fits into a standard size cookie sheet. When I cut up my cinnamon rolls into the portions, I like to use either unflavored dental floss or thread. You can't see it, obviously, but this is a piece of thread. I tried to do black so you could see it against my shirt, but I don't think it's even working. And how I like to do it so that I get the cinnamon rolls all the right size is I first go down to the middle and do half of the cinnamon roll. So it's huge and heavy and honky. Is that even a word? Honky tonk is a word, but I don't know if it means like what I'm thinking. Hunky, chunky, big, thick. So you just take your thread and you pull it together and you shoop. We're gonna do that a few more times. So then I do this one in half as well. Let me get it around the halfway mark. Oh guys, I'm so distracted by the camera. I'm not doing as well as I normally do. And I'm also distracted because I haven't been eating like sweets or junk food. So I want these really bad. Okay, so I do that one in half. Now this and this is gonna be 3 rolls each. So you have 6 on this side and 6 on this side. Now the end pieces maybe aren't that pretty, but I put pretty side up. So if you'll watch, look how big that is already. Oh, you can't see. Let me get it closer for you guys. Jim is gonna come over this fancy camera and look at it with a bird's eye view of what that cinnamon roll is gonna look like. See how beautiful that is? It's big and fluffy, but it still has one more rise in it. It's still gonna rise for another half an hour. Look at that one. Look how pretty. Oh my gosh, you guys, look at all that cinnamony goodness. But look, what I want you to look at really closely is look how fluffy that is right there. Thick and fluffy and delicious. Make sure you line your cookie sheet in parchment. It just makes for easier cleanup. Oh, I might say some snarky fun things that will make it in. Keep it rolling. Get it? Keep it rolling. Do I have to explain that joke to you? Probably not.
I'm a dad.
Yeah. Oh, these are so beautiful. They're just... The first time I made these cinnamon rolls, I was so proud of myself just because I was very nervous about it. My brother had made them for all of these different occasions and he was always the king of doing it. And our first holiday apart, I wanted to do it too, just like my brother Scott. And I did it. And they seriously are the best cinnamon rolls in the whole world. We've cut up the cinnamon rolls and placed them on a parchment lined cookie sheet, or jelly roll pan is actually what it's called. You can do one of 3 things. You can bake them after half an hour rise. You can put them in the fridge and bake them in the morning, or you can freeze them and save them for a later date. To bake them immediately, all you do is cover them with a tea towel, let them rise for half an hour, and then bake them for 15 minutes, 15 to 18 minutes. Check on them at 15 minutes. 2, if you want to bake them the next morning, you just put them in the fridge, let them rise on the counter for about an hour before you bake them. You can also freeze them. Put them in the freezer, let them freeze, take them out, let them defrost overnight in the fridge, and then let them rise on the counter for about an hour before you bake them. Either way, they're gonna be delicious. I'm gonna teach you how to make the frosting. I use a cube of butter and a block? What is the correct terminology for this? a block of softened cream cheese, is that right? So we're gonna do a block of softened cream cheese, a cube of softened butter. After the cream cheese and the butter are fully incorporated together and they look like one cohesive unit, like they're buddies, right? Then you add, I like to add maple syrup into mine. I do about 1/3 cup of maple syrup, and then I add about 1/2 cup of powdered sugar. And I put in just a shake. I don't even think like 1/2 teaspoon. No, let me count, hold on. Yeah, like maybe 1/8 teaspoon of cinnamon, not a lot, just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. Because I like it to have just a little hint of what's inside the cinnamon roll. And I do about 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla. I'm gonna show you a close-up of what this frosting, icing, delicious thing is. So you just know what it looks like. It's really smooth. What's nice about this one, let me tell you why I do it this way. It's soft. It's even soft in the fridge, it doesn't harden up. So we only put frosting, icing, delicious stuff on top of our cinnamon rolls as we eat them. So we'll do one and then keep the rest in the fridge or the freezer, and then we heat it up in the oven or the microwave and then put fresh frosting on top. So when we store it, we store the cinnamon rolls without frosting and then we put it on top. And that's why I like this recipe, because it stays soft in the fridge, so you can just get a glop of it and put it on. Glop? Gosh, I can't use any right cooking terms. A glop, just that much. It'll be delicious, I promise. Look at what we did. Look at what we did together. Aren't those so gorgeous? Are those not the most beautiful, wonderful cinnamon rolls you've ever seen? Look at that huge one right there. That's mine. Oh. So I'm gonna put on some so pillowy, soft and delicious. Oh, they're hot out of the oven. Look at, can you see the steam coming off of them? Steam facial. We all know my esthetician is taking a little break for quarantine. I'm gonna find my facial where I can get it. Okay, so I'm just gonna put on, like we said, a glop. Just spread it over there and it'll melt. Oh, yeah, baby. Look at how pretty. Oh my gosh. Sorry, that sounded really bad, but I'm very excited about these cinnamon rolls. They're gorgeous. I hope you guys enjoy them. I have my flour and my yeast in here. Oh, where does the salt go? Hold on. 2 teaspoons of salt. Just a second. Look at the recipe. Oh, Scott's gonna kill me. Where? Oh, I was supposed to put the salt in something. Are you recording still? Oh, jeez.
Hey, whoops, there's right now.
It's okay. I can't wait to show you the dough, how beautiful it is. Oh, I look like Hitler. Let me try that again. Butter.
That's a good close-up. I wanted you to keep a smile on your face. It's really good.
There we go. Smile.
Yeah.
Okay.
Smile like that.